cmpradio.net. It's the station.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester, cultivating maturity and positivity, giving you what you need to hear all around Chester and all points of Delco and beyond. I am Rich Blye. Welcome to the wonderful world of Rich Blye, streaming live on this beautiful, glorious day. I know it was very hot for a lot of people, but that's just the way I like it. I've been begging for this sun to come out, and thank God that it did, because I was getting those two-tone looks on my arms that I can't stand. That's why you see me in the tank top tee. I normally don't, come out presented this way. I know, but I needed the sun rays for myself. I needed the sun's healing properties for myself today. So I was basking in all that great vitamin D that the Lord has made, and I am absolutely happy at the moment. That might change throughout the show. It's going to ebb and flow a little bit. Let's talk about the fact that this is Mental Health Month, along with Haitian Independence Heritage Month, along with Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. There's a couple of others. If I'm missing any, I do apologize. I cannot keep up with everyone's, just like everyone can't keep up with ours. It's so much because we have so many people that we want to honor, so many traditions and so many cultures that we want to honor. So shout out to your Heritage Month. I think we should just call it Heritage Month. I think that whatever you are, instead of trying to break it down into individual groups, how about we just go ahead and be that world that everybody wants us to put together and just have one Heritage Month and put it in September, because that's International Month, that's International Day. You might as well make it International Heritage Month, International Heritage Day. Get it over with. Stop convoluting the whole situation. Hold on, wait a minute. Is Jewish Heritage Month as well. We can't forget our beautiful folks who speak that Yiddish that I love so well. Again, folks, if you are new to my show or you haven't seen my show, I am not an expert. I do not claim to be an expert. I claim to be a person who is extremely observant based upon my experience of traveling this globe, and I speak an opinion based upon that, okay? So some of the things that I speak on are absolutely factual, that have been proven over the test of time, documented in history, and I just repeat those things. And then other things are things that I know personally to be true, because they are vetted. It is vetted information that I provide, because I know that you won't get it. And when I get it, my job is to make sure that the community gets it. Okay. Sometimes people want it. Sometimes people don't, but that's not my part. to worry about whether you don't want it or not. My job is to come here and be this content creator and put this great, useful information out into the world and onto the street, because you guys get lied to too much and we need to set some record straights. This is what public radio broadcasting is for, so that way you don't have to look at the Caucasian broadcasting system or the no black channel, or the all Caucasian broadcast system, with those call letters. So we all know what that's about. They show what they want to show about us, or talk about what they want to talk about, what they feel is relevant, but they don't get to the heart and the matter and the soul of what encompasses Chester, or what encompasses Delco for that matter. CMPradio.net does that for Chester and whatever it does, because our call letters are in the names of people's mouths, even former officials. So with that being said, CMPradio.net, the breakfast that you wake up to, the lunch that you need to sustain yourself, that dinner that's going to tie you over, and you might get some dessert for all it's worth. If you're real nice, I might, give you a little lemon pound cake or something like that, or whatever. Anyway, we're going to be talking today about the people versus the elected officials. If you haven't been paying attention, and I'm going to segue back into this, Chester, because this is going to matter to you. You may not be paying attention to what's going on in Upper Darby Township right now, but I suggest that you do. This is a very huge and critical case of protected speech, freedom of speech, who wields the power, and what they stand to gain from making sure that you, the private citizen, does not get to use your full right to speak as freely as you do. Now, being the careful observer that I say that I am, I have not been in Chester this week, but I've been watching Chester this week, and let me tell you, this election campaign locally for state representative, as I said again, I have nothing to gain, so I'm not endorsing anyone. I want to make that very perfectly clear. I have nothing to gain. It is not my legislative district. I don't want it to be said that, Rich Blye came on the radio station and said this about me and da-da-da-da. No, I didn't. Please don't lie on me. I just want to let you know that I'm the type of person is, if you put a lie with my name on it in your mouth, we're going to have some coffee at some time or another, because I don't get down like that. I know that there's been some assertions and some type of alluding that I would be selective in making any type of political decisions or endorsements. And I want to make this very perfectly clear. The wonderful world of Rich Blye, that is me. The Jace of Delaware County, that's me. Richard A. Blye, that's me. I do not endorse any candidate. Got that? Got that? Whether you be a politician or a former politician that's running again. Okay? Now, I don't know Mr. Kirkland personally. And that's that. I do know Carol. I don't know her personally per se. I'm very well acquainted with her as a person who has walked side by side with her for different engagements. I've been a person that has been invited to Harrisburg to speak by Ms. Kazim. I've been a person who has been invited to forums but I have not eaten at her table. I've eaten with her at my table, but I haven't eaten at her table. I haven't participated in any of her political events. I have come up for a free meal when she provided free meals because I was there to photograph what was going on in Chester and conduct interviews up on avenues of the states. And I happily accepted a plate of food because I was hungry and the food was good and it was delicious and I appreciated it. So with that being said, Chester, tomorrow it's up for you to make up your minds for what you want and how you want it. If you feel as though that there is unfinished business that needs to be taken care of, help that unfinished business. If you will want to stay the course, stay the course. Vote for the person who wants to stay the course. But it's not a good look, Chester, with everything that you have going on in a positive fashion, for any of you as citizens, residents, to try to intimidate. And I did say the word try. And I said try because it's alleged that there were some tactics and some threats. Alleged that there is some video that kind of puts Chester residents, not people in a political party, not opposing people, people who after an election that you're going to have to say hello to one another again, that you're going to be shopping in the same stores. Your children and your grandchildren are going to be going to the same games and homecoming and stuff like that, that I see Chester residents and taxpayers and homeowners and business owners do. Please don't let the election of a person who is coming from the people or has been with the people jade you in thinking that you're doing the right thing by being subversive to one another. That's not cool. It's not. It's not. I don't care I don't care about the politics. I understand everybody's position. Everybody has a position. But this is the position that I want you guys to understand. You're going to meet up with each other in the streets. You're going to have maybe a crisis or a situation that's going to call for everyone to band together and work together. And once this election is over, no matter who wins, we still have a job to do. And just because one person may win over the other doesn't mean that the job is supposed to stop or that the help and the support of all hands in needs to be curtailed because of favoritism. For anyone that's running for re-election or anyone who is running to be elected, for anyone who understands the political process, I want to help you understand. At the end of the day, they are just people. No disrespect, but there is nothing special about them. You guys put these people, flesh and blood, carnal, sinful, saved by grace, or whatever means, people on pedestals. When the people do the work. Now, I'm not saying that elected officials, that some of them don't work, because we know that we have some hard working, public officials who get up every day with the mindset of accomplishing something other than a photo op or a plate of food or a check that slides under the door. We know who these folks are, so we don't need to call out any names. I'm not giving no shout outs. This is not a shout out. This is not an endorsement. I think people saw on my page that I spoke to the young man from out of Philadelphia. He happens to be part of the Philly Red. But that's not why I made a post for him. It's because no matter where he is and where he's going politically, an attack was made against this brother based upon the fact that he had a checkered past, reformed himself, made himself into something, and stood for something. Now, I know everybody doesn't agree with Philly Red and everything like that. That's not what I'm campaigning for as well. But that's still a black man. That's still a black man who has said time after time again, he sold drugs, he was a knucklehead, that he did time. And when he got out, he said he wanted to change his life. He wanted to be a part of something. He started changing certain things about himself. And his position is his position. But it's not hurting anybody. It only hurts your feelings because of your emotional response to his subject matter and his politics, which is the lamest thing in the world for anybody who declares themselves to be an intellectual. The lamest. I want to understand something about the people versus these elected officials, why you bow down to them so much. I saw elected officials waving in the street like it's a beauty contest. All for ops. And everybody, oh, yay. Meanwhile, you had to go home and cook dinner. Meanwhile, you had to go home and get laundry together. Meanwhile, you had to go home and be the example of leadership in your house. Meanwhile, you had to go home and correct some situations with your kid, your husband, or something like that, your wife, and be the leader in your house. Who's clapping for you? Leader. See, there's this thing, and I love it, and I heard years ago from Dr. Hale. And Dr. Hale says that we need to be wary of those who are black leaders versus those who are leadership in being black. You understand what I mean? There's a difference. Let me explain it to you. Hold on. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to pull this up because it's extremely important for people to understand that when something is said, it's meant a certain way because we don't always get it the first time when it comes out. Okay, right now, there are people that you're calling black leaders that have nothing to do with Marcus Garvey, nothing to do with the day as W.E. Du Bois or Martin Luther King. These are people that got us together. And this, you know what I mean? This has been said back during the 90s. But today's black leaders have become leading blacks. So don't forget, don't confuse the two. Leading blacks. Black leadership is putting every component of strength together in a black community. It is not alienating anyone because they have a difference of a point of view. I'm going to say that again, because you guys don't understand what democracy is. Democracy is not the majority rules and there's a loser. There is no loser in democracy, in a true democracy. And I know people say, oh, we're in a republic. Yes, we're in a republic, and we're in a republican state that's modeled after the Roman Empire, blah, 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 blah. But what people understand and what has to be modeled into that model of being a republic is that being a democratic republic means that the majority does rule, but the minority is not forgotten, that they are taken care of along with the majority as a whole. So you don't create dissension. So you don't create enemies. But there are people who are black leaders who revel in creating controversy amongst the people and got you all riled up against one another. Against one another. Why would I want to be mad at my brother because he may want to vote for Mr. Kirkland? That's his choice. Why would I be mad at my sister if she wanted to vote for State Rep Karakazee? That's her choice. See, young people, y'all don't get it. They got y'all all up in arms about voting tomorrow, about voting tomorrow, about voting tomorrow. This should be a no-brainer. If schools are closed, banks are closed. Some banks or the city's closed. There's no business. There's no trash collection. There's really nothing to speak of. Then you know what your civic duty is. It shouldn't be talked about. Go do it. But hold on a second. After you get your free gift card, for some of you who know that you get your gift card for going to get your sticker so you can go to Wawa, because we know how that goes down. Please don't tell me it doesn't happen. Please don't tell me it doesn't happen, because I saw a certain special visitor from out of Upper Darby Township that ain't never campaigned in Chester for nothing. And I saw him on a video, and wherever that slime ball winds up, that's where that slime ball does, because that's who he is. And that former Upper Darby Council president is a slime ball, in my opinion. And I'm going to get to how I'm going to keep calling him a slime ball, because what he did to me was personal. So I know he's not a public official, but he was a human being a slime ball, acting in his official capacity. I don't have an official capacity. I'm going to be Rich Blye all day long for the rest of my life. So we're going to talk about that. But you guys keep letting your faves rule your life. Why? Are you afraid to lead your own homes? Well, that's evident at the rate that we see, the way how some of these kids are tearing down stores over Swatch watches, cheap merchandise. We can see that they don't have home training. You guys have put to bed the lies that have been talking about, black people can't afford identification, but they can certainly afford to stand in a line from 5 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon to get a cheap knockoff watch, and then fight, get arrested, bail themselves out. Hold on, how they bail themselves out? They had to show ID. They had to be identified. The cops can identify them, but we can't identify people at the polls. See, y'all, you play too much. You play too much with this national narrative that black people are poor. Black people are not poor. They have poor spending habits overall. I'm not saying all black people, but a great majority of us that spend up to $1 trillion in a bunch of BS like weaves and fake butts and nails. You're going to look good when you go vote tomorrow. You're going to look good for the camera. And you're going to go vote and you're going to get your sticker. And then you're going to expect somebody to work for you. How about this? That's not the way it works. What you mean? I elected them. They supposed to do their job. That's not how it works. See, you have lobbyists, folks. You have people who want the attention of your mayor and your state rep and your state senator, and they want their attention because they got things that they want too. These corporations want things too. And guess what? They're going to send their people to who? Not to you people. They don't care what you want. Because all you do is vote. That's all you do. Oh, that's in my family too, guys and girls. Listen, when I'm talking from an experience. That's in my family too. Bunch of talk. Bunch of it. You get tired of hearing people talking with no action. Zero. No effort, no passion, no sense of urgency. Any excuse will do. Any excuse will do. It don't matter. But got a nerve to complain. Got a nerve to be emotionally charged. Got a nerve to sit back and want to tell me about how it is. Oh, excuse me, sir, Miss Lady. I go to my meetings. I don't count on the newspaper to tell me about these elected officials. If I don't make a meeting, I watch it live. If I don't get a chance to watch it live, then I'll go back and watch the recording of it. So if I have questions that I need to go and talk to a public official that has been made or has been brought up, I'm aware of what the public official said. Not, oh, did you hear what Miss Robinson said at the meeting? And she was like this and one child, yeah. And this person did all this. And yo, man, ain't nobody worried about this. A bunch of Fat Alberts and Cosby kids. The free man be. Tired of y'all. The people versus the elected official. You elect people, but then you're not going to do nothing about it. You're not going to hold them accountable. Holding them accountable is going to the meetings. Holding them accountable is making sure that those emails of concern go through. Holding them accountable is that when they come back into the community for certain events where they're doing the public speaking, hold on a second. Don't start talking about the kids and Biddy League and shiny suits and everything like that. Let's address the fact that on the state level, you're supposed to help us with this, and this isn't getting done, and this is what we elected you for. Stop glad-handing these elected officials, young people. Stop being amazed and being stargazers about these elected officials, young people. You're being fooled. You're being fooled. Stop stargazing at them. They are nobodies. And when I mean nobodies, there's somebody to somebody else. But I guarantee you, outside of their job, They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to do everything. They know how to do their job. They may have some skills past what they do in public service, and that's for their family and friends or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's not going to put food on your table or keep your kid out of prison or get your child into therapy or help with your elderly grandmother or make sure that your pop who served in the war or served in the military, gets himself 100% service connected. So while y'all flossing and glossing, and I saw all of that up at the Delco Gives too, absolutely trash. I'm not talking about Delco Gives. I'm talking about the fake, and more fake that I saw up in there. And the more that I think about it, how we sit up here and just act like peacocks and parade around. That's why I stay in areas quiet. That's why I don't say nothing and I got that look like, because I'm listening. I hear y'all. When I'm at these events and these people are talking and I'm listening to everything that these folks say. See, y'all don't listen to folks. I do. I take people right at their word because I want you to take me at mine. And that's why I want you to take these politicians at their word and stop glossing over it. Well, I think what they meant. No, they meant exactly what they said. Because if you have to take the time to retract something, then you did shoot off the cuff. You did shoot from the hip, and you did mean what you said. Your actions do speak it. Your attitude speaks it. Your demeanor speaks it. The haughtiness of it speaks for you. Psalms 116. I love the Lord because he has heard my voice and my supplications. Because he has inclined his ear unto me, therefore I will call upon him as long as I live. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell gat hold of me. I found trouble and sorrow. Then I called upon the name of the Lord. O Lord, I beseech thee, deliver my soul. Gracious is the Lord and righteous. Yea, our God is merciful. The Lord preserveth the simple. I was brought low, and he helped me. Return unto thy rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with thee. For thou hast delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I believed, therefore I have spoken. I was greatly afflicted. I said in my haste, all men are liars. Where shall I render unto the Lord for all of his benefits towards me? I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all of his people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. O Lord, truly I am thy servant. I am thy servant, and the sons of thine handmaid, thou hast loosened my bonds. I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all his people, in the courts of the Lord's house, in the midst of thee, O Jerusalem, praise ye the Lord. Psalms 116 is me thanking God for my life when barely any prayed for me. Welcome to Men's Mental Health Monday. When the same politicians that are seeking a seat or are going to be up for re-election real soon, or going to talk over the next couple of days at council meetings about men's mental health and how you should never let someone be isolated. But you have a lot of Delaware County politicians that like to censor people. And then all up and down the track, oh, don't deal with him. Don't deal with him. Don't deal with him. We'll pay you. Don't deal with them. And y'all know what's happening. Everybody in Chester knows the dirty little secret of the fact that if a certain members on the white side of this party, because it ain't the black ones, it's the white ones. It's the white ones. They don't want to hear this type of conversation, as I've told people in Lansdowne yesterday during that festival. They don't want to hear this type of voice. They don't want to hear this type of masculinity. They don't want to hear this type of truth where I'm not using any type of political power or using somebody else's name to invoke you to uplift yourself. I'm invoking your name. I'm invoking the name of the Lord. I'm invoking the power that's already inside of you, that God already put inside of you. That's what I'm invoking. I'm not invoking no man or no woman that walks around just like you. It's for you to do better for yourself. And if that's what you're waiting on, if you're waiting for somebody else to uplift you, do me a huge, huge solid. Don't call my phone. The bank is closed. You're not fighting. You got your hands out. You're not helping with the heavy lifting. Just complaining, just whining. Oh, I didn't get this, and I felt as though I should have got, and I did. I'm tired of it. Personally, I'm not dealing with it. For the past, let's say since 2018, let's just start there. I'll give it 2018 for Delaware County. I'm not going to include my Philadelphia time as far as what I've done for outreach or what I've done for my community. I'll just use my Delco time, 2018 to this point. I've said this before. There are a lot of great nonprofits out there that are doing the damn thing without, being on the radar and, getting a lot of help. But then also at the same time, I see the exploited, the exploiters. That's what I call them, the exploiters. Your nonprofits already got money. Your nonprofits already have prominence nationally. Your nonprofits already are up there, but you don't do anything to help younger nonprofits become just as successful as you are, because there's no room for you and your ego for that person to be on there. And that's what I'm seeing about a lot of new nonprofits propping up that have the money, or the ones that have been around for a minute that have the money, or the ones that get the looks for the money. And everybody sees it too. And the younger ones that are really hungry, the ones that whose minds you can't poison, that see you for who you are. See, I want to say this too. A lot of you that are, not say public officials, but public personalities or influencers, or the ones in the know, that go-to gal, that go-to girl, blah, blah, blah. You're seen in public an awful lot. And the persona that you project in public is kind of different when you're around different groups of people. And I really want to say this to you guys. You guys are eating your own. And you gotta kind of just a little bit be careful of the company that you keep and the things that you're saying, because this is starting to look like 2018 with the way that, these messages keep hitting my phones, and these pictures and, voicemails and all types of stuff. And like I said, I'm not getting involved in it. I'm not putting it out there, but I am going to send you a warning. So the only way to do this, the only way to get this thing rolling is to actually read you a periodical that has been sent to me. It's an updated periodical, but it's from yesterday. It's from an independent journalist. I'm going to get into it, but let me give you the setup for this, okay? So you can understand. In Upper Darby Township right now, there is a council person who just won their seat this year, this past election, back in November, and assumed their seat this January, and is now the vice president of Upper Darby Township Council, and his name is Mr. Noah Fields. Mr. Fields had an incident when he was younger, and I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not. Let me just put it this way. I'm not. But Mr. Fields had an incident that was dealt with by the courts. Now, you know me in understanding the courts and understanding how the courts work. When something is a done deal, that's what it is. So if anyone is looking for me to sensationalize what was adjudicated during that time, I'm going to say this. I didn't like it when it was done to me. And that's just being fair. I'm being very fair about this. I didn't like it when it was done to me. And like I said, again, I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong. I'm just going to present the facts because this is now litigation and it may have some repercussions later on down the line. So I'm just going to read this periodical because there's another, if you want to say, there was another interview done. There was an interview done, and this one was done by Philly Mag Online by the name of from out of and yeah, so he wrote something too, and I don't know if I have enough time to get to the garbage that he wrote. But I'm just going to read this periodical. It's written by a woman by the name of Leah Hoops, who's very well known in Delco political circles. And she has successfully litigated herself, and she has stood up for what she believes in the Constitution and the rights that she believes in, And this periodical that she wrote, I'm going to read it to you. There's a growing pattern in Upper Darby that should concern every resident, regardless of political party, ideology, or personal feelings towards the individuals involved. The issue is no longer whether you like someone's speech. The issue is whether local political actors, connected activists, and institutional allies are using pressure, public shaming, litigation, and government-adjacent influence to punish critics, whistleblowers, political opponents, and inconvenient women. Two names stand out in that discussion. One of them, Olivia Taylor. Olivia Taylor was covered by Bill Lawrence on the story 2 years ago. You can find that at Bill Lawrence online, Olivia Taylor, not guilty. And now Miss Rochelle Shelley Hoyt Zollo. Linda Stein has been covering Rochelle's story. Thank you, Linda. You can find that Upper Darby Township Council sues resident over Facebook at Broad and Liberty, another independent source. Different women, different circumstances, same atmosphere. An atmosphere with dissent becomes dangerous, criticism becomes harassment, and political speech suddenly becomes actionable the moment it threatens the right people. The Noah Fields lawsuit is bigger than one Facebook post. Now, the lawsuit filed by Upper Darby Councilman Noah Fields against Rochelle Hoyt Zollo is being put out into the public as a simple tort action. Basically, he's suing her for either defamation or libel or whichever one it is. I'm not sure. Okay? But I'm reading this to you because this is a sitting elected official suing a private resident. But once you start reading the pleadings, the posture of the case becomes difficult to ignore. There was no criminal prosecution. Facts. There were no charges filed. Facts. No unlawful access allegations were criminally sustained. Okay? Now, what's happening is that, like I said, Mr. Fields had something adjudicated when he was younger. Case closed. And the woman in question was sent said information. Now, I know Miss Rochelle Shelley Hoyt Zollo personally. She is a very great woman, a very dynamic and passionate woman. She loves her community. She hates the way that she sees things going. She has been very vocal. She has been very involved. She has put her money where her mouth is. She has said things that have hurt people's feelings. People have said things to her that have hurt hers. There was contentions between her and other public officials before Mr. Noah Fields. Again, I'm not going to get into that. That's not my thing. But just put it this way, it hasn't been to this point where right now she's being sued for information from Mr. Councilman Noah Fields' past that she was not supposed to have. Let's be right as rain. Whomever sent this information knew it. That's where I want to put it. And I think that no matter what comes out of this situation, whether it's litigated or whether it's settled, I think the most important part of this is that whoever provided this information violated the trust of law enforcement, showed that there is a breach in information and how it's obtained and who has access to said information. I think that that's bigger than the fact that she was given a bit of information without context and say, here's something for you for the political arena, so to speak, which it was for. It wasn't personal. It was political. But unfortunately, the information should not have been sent to her. Now, with that being said, according to Rochelle, and this is the truth, Upper Darby Police Lieutenant Mike Scott came to her residence, reviewed her phone voluntarily, and no criminal conduct was charged. Yet, despite the fact that a lawsuit was filed in Philadelphia County, despite both parties being part of Philadelphia County, conspiracy claims have asserted without identifying co-defendants. Conspiracy, meaning that they believe, or the attorney for Councilman Fields feels as though that there's a local conspiracy against his client. I want to make sure that I say this very firmly. There's no conspiracy. Nobody is conspiring. I haven't heard conspiracy since I was young, and every time I hear conspiracy now, it involves public officials. So there's that. Speculative allegations were pled contingent upon further discovery. Substantial damages were demanded despite plaintiff ultimately winning the election to office. The lawsuit arose from speech occurring during an active election cycle involving a political candidate for office. That matters because political speech occupies the highest level of constitutional protection in this country. Public officials cannot demand unlimited scrutiny while others shielding themselves from scrutiny. Noah Fields was not a private citizen dragged unwillingly into a controversy. He voluntarily sought elected office. He participated in political discourse. He publicly criticized others. He reportedly participated in narratives attacking political opponents, including Bobby Yantorno. But now, criticism directed back towards him has allegedly become actionable, emotional harm worthy of a substantial civil damage. This contradiction is impossible to ignore. The same political environment that normalizes aggressive public attacks against opponents suddenly demands extraordinary protection when the criticism is directed inward. In this part, I agree. In this part, from what I read, I agree. And the reason why I agree is that if you're going to be a public official, you have to understand that your life's going to be underneath a microscope. I mean, we see you guys doing it all the time. I mean, you know, the Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, when everybody went back into his days of, you know, being a boy and doing, you know, men's locker room stuff, whatever that is. You know what I mean? But we all knew that people went through his life to discredit him from being confirmed. We've seen at confirmation hearings. I know this doesn't happen locally. This doesn't happen on the state level. But we've seen these hearings where the scrutiny of the public is laid to bear on top of political inductees, nominees, or whatever. And that's been a part of the politics since forever. But again, we live in the softest generation of America ever. The softest. Soft. Let me tell you, somebody, well, I'm going to say somebody. I know who the somebody is. And they live in Delaware now. Yeah, I know where that person moved to. That person lives in Delaware now, and I keep my eye on that person. But that person decided to put my arrest record, my jacket, all on Facebook and several pro-liberal groups. See, this is how the hatred began for me. All I was talking about was Juneteenth in my black community in Upper Darby Township, and they ain't like that. They ain't like the fact that I was talking black and talking smack about, you know, the kids need, you know, basketball nets and, you know, can we get some white lines painted on the basketball court, and can we get the fence mended over here, and can we get some consistency with the grass being cut, and can I help out with programs for the kids? So I wasn't just asking for resources. I was asking to be a part of a team to make sure that it's maintained, and that's not what they wanted. When your government doesn't embrace volunteerism, that lets you know that your government only wants one thing: control. Control. And this is now a control situation because Upper Darby has been leading the charge in Delaware County. Brookhaven is a close second. What's up, Terry? Brookhaven is a close second with Darby coming in, Darby Borough coming in third with this attack on freedom of speech. You guys, some of you, are worried about the wrong level of who's doing what. I get everybody's all up in arms about what happened in Louisiana and down south and all this other type stuff, but let me also help you. In Louisiana, there's 3.5 something odd million black people, and only 1.7 of them vote. These are facts. So you can scream all up and down all you want, but until you go look at the realism of the numbers, and why some of those candidates down there are dropping out of the race, not because they wouldn't win. They just know that they wouldn't win because the people that are complaining about not having a right aren't exercising that right. I'm lying? Go look up the numbers. Go look up the numbers if I'm lying. I want you to know I already looked up the numbers. So for me to talk about it, I'm waiting for the argument. I'm waiting for you to go look up the numbers and understand why these things have been deemed illegal. And I know it's not the right time to be talking about it, but here's the thing. Y'all don't do nothing about nothing. Y'all don't do nothing. Just like when they say, oh, we did do something. We didn't do nothing. That's who you are. Didn't do nothings. You didn't do anything but go vote. You put nothing actionable behind it. And you know why? Because you got people who have told you, go vote and I'll take care of it. Go vote and I'll take care of you. You could just go ahead, sit back and relax, put your feet up. I'm on the job. Does your boss say that to you when they hire you for a job? Or does your boss come back and check on you? Does your supervisor come back, comes around to your desk or to your workstation to check and see if you did the job? Don't you have to send reports? Don't you got to report to somebody about your work, about if you were doing your job today? But you turn around and you're going to have an election tomorrow and go vote. But who's going to check up on these people? Or are you going to put them on a pedestal and kiss their ass? I'm betting on the B. I'm betting on the B because you won't change your mind. You're stubborn. Even with the facts in front of you, you're stubborn because you don't care. But that's all right. Life's going to help you care. It's coming. I dated it. Let's get back to this story. Let's go back to what happened to Olivia Taylor. Now, Olivia Taylor is a black grandmother. Olivia Taylor is someone that I know personally. Olivia Taylor is someone who invited me to start participating and going to Upper Darby Township meetings. I was very reluctant at first because I was just like everybody else. Like I said, this comes from an experience. Man, I ain't got time for the government. I ain't got time for them. That's what the government do. I was the same way. I'm trying to tell you. I was the same way. The same way as you. I could kick myself. I could kick myself for not going to meetings sooner, for not understanding how the government works, for not understanding where I fit in at it for real. I think that's what people don't like about me, is because I don't want to play a game when my people are suffering and the people that are doing it to us look just like us. I don't want to get hit in the head with that imaginary white man shit. I really don't. I don't want to get hit in the head with that imaginary white man stuff. I don't want to get hit in the head with it. I'm not saying it's not imaginary, but right about now, the only people that I see hurting other people look just like us. Whatever. Anyway, this grandmother, many people had already watched another woman become the center of a coordinated public targeting and political hostility. Olivia Taylor, again, different facts, but the same reoccurring themes: public shaming, ideological pressure, online targeting, attempts to isolate dissenters, reputational attacks, institutional escalation, political intimidation disguised as accountability. What should disturb residents is not whether they agree with every statement either woman made. What should disturb residents is that in an apparent willingness of political ecosystems to escalate aggressively against women who become politically inconvenient. Now, the reason why I say this term political inconvenience towards women, Ms. Taylor was one of the first residents to faithfully, for over 7 years plus, going to meetings every week, every meeting, every week. Olivia Taylor was there. Olivia Taylor present. Olivia Taylor speaking. Olivia Taylor. So Olivia Taylor is not somebody who's just a fly-by-night, just coming up to blow something off, blah, blah, blah. Olivia Taylor has single-handedly exposed the taxi cab situation, where we actually had to get an ordinance change to get these illegal taxis off the street. Some of them didn't have registration. Some of them didn't have stickers, but these guys was just operating with impunity, driving beat up death traps and parking all across the street. So if your mom was coming home from work and she needed to park her car, instead of being able to park in front of her house, we had like about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cabs on the block. So now she's got to park up the street with very little lighting, only to get hit in the head. And that did happen. People were getting their purses snatched at the time because they were using certain streets that are very dimly lit, and they weren't patrolled as frequently. So they used that as a method to do that. Ms. Taylor battled with the McCosey administration to get that ordinance number and amendment to it to get those illegal cabs off the street and allow residents, hardworking, tax-paying people, to park on their street and not be have their business impeded by a business, because that's what taxi cabs are. I know and I understand that those who drive cabs also use it as the family car. So if you're not using it at the family car, make sure that you take the markings off of it or cover your markings up, so that way we know that you're there on family business. But they didn't want to do that. They just wanted to park their cars, their taxis, wherever they wanted to. And this black grandmother fought City Hall, so to speak, and won. Ms. Taylor was also the person who was responsible for exposing then councilperson, former councilperson, Shekef Sadiq, and him being a slumlord. I wish he would sue me, because I got the paperwork of where he admitted guilt to it. I was absolutely in the courtroom when he pled. So don't go running to Shekef Sadiq and say anything that I'm talking about him. Mr. Sadiq saw me in the True Value just the other day on Saturday, and he knows not to say anything to me. I don't like the man, and he knows why. I know what he did to black families. I know what he did to black women. I know what he did to black children. But, he had that D behind his name. And everybody want to feel so sorry from somebody from an immigrant population that you're willing to give them a shot. But you let this black woman down who was coming in and exposing the fact that he owed taxes, and you are about to get your houses taken for less than $1,000. See, if you really check in, I want to say this. For all of the corporate jobs that I worked at, I had to disclose my financial stability. I had to go through extensive credit checks. Extensive. Because I'm used to handle hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time. No big deal. It's money. But I understood why. Because if I can't handle my own finances, if I can't handle myself and my household and my finances, why would a corporation want me to come in and handle theirs? See, this is why it's important to find out if your public official owes taxes. Because they're going to be voting on measures to raise your taxes. How is somebody who owes taxes raising your taxes? Huh? That's like a thief coming into your house and you watching him steal from you and you turn back to the TV. I don't know. I don't buy it. But that's what she did. And when it was all said and done, they chilled her, meaning they froze her out. They made her a pariah in her own community. They made it so that she couldn't afford a lawyer. They made it so that she couldn't afford to litigate. She made it so that she couldn't survive off of the reputational warfare because they went after her records. This is why these lawsuits matter, even when they ultimately fail, because the process itself becomes punishment. A local resident sees things that happens to someone who speaks out, posts documents, criticizes officials, or challenges narratives and thinks, I do not want what's happening to me to happen to anyone else. So it's dangerous. Now, like I said, public officials, when you are in that seat, you might become a meme. I've seen plenty of memes. I've made some myself. There are certain public officials who got underneath my skin and you got what you got. I told you, leave me alone. I'm a private citizen. I ain't stalking your house. I ain't stalking your pages. I ain't stalking your family. I'm not bothering you. But you are awfully convenient with my name in your mouth, or telling somebody to hate me, or getting in my way, or not allowing me to do what I do in the community because you hate so much. And the people choose you because you know why? Because they're charismatic when they say it, because you want to feel part of the crowd. That's you going along for bully. And Delaware County loves bullies. Delaware County loves bullies and pedophiles. They just picked up a dude that's on the count. He was over in Darby Borough. They just picked up a dude, 118 counts. And he living in Delaware County. Delaware County has the largest amount of registered sex offenders in this whole entire state. But y'all clap for this. We got public officials that didn't vote on protections against these type of predators, whether they be foreign and or domestic, because you're following a party narrative. See, folks, when you go to vote tomorrow, don't forget what happened to you. Don't forget what happened to you. Don't forget that person that didn't return that email in a timely fashion. Don't forget that person when you were sitting out there suffering with the beans and rice, and they were there for the photo op, but then they disappeared when the times got hard, or you were stuck on the side of the road. Don't forget that. Because Pepperidge Farm remembers. Don't forget that. Because they conveniently forget about you. I got a guy, he helped out a certain somebody that's an elected official now, helped him with his family and, helped that person pursue a dream of becoming something, and he helped them become that. And when he came to him and said, hey, my turn, I got a situation. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking you to open up the door for me and let me swing in with my opportunity like I did for your family. And you know what that person did? Looked at him like he was trash and kept it moving. No return on an investment. When you vote tomorrow, it's the people versus the elected officials. It is. Because you got to make up your mind whether or not you're voting for someone who's for the people or for the elected elite. Because you got some people that want to get elected and they want to take you into areas that we don't need to be. That your children are going to be pissed off with you about. Like case in point, let's talk about this. Starting June the 6th, every police department in Pennsylvania now has the green light to pull you over when you have your cell phone in your hand. There will be no exceptions. There will be no breaks given. This is an official mandate to all law enforcement officers, patrol officers. If they see that phone, even if you using it at a stop sign or a traffic light, it is a $50 fine. But that's not the best of it. It's a fine that acts like a DUI, meaning the penalties get stiffer the more times you get caught. So do yourself a favor and get yourself something for your car to hold your phone, for your kids, for the young teenage drivers, for the ones who are just starting out, your newly arrived friends who don't know the laws and don't understand the laws, because you want to pat them on the back for being brave, from coming into this country and being able to set up shop and do what they want to do. So make sure that they don't get those fines, since you love them so much. Make sure that they don't argue with the police officers, because they are ramping up to catch you on your phone, and it is an initial $50 fine that's going to act like a DUI. Why? They want you off the phones, period. It's not up for discussion. It is not up for debate. It is not going to be argued. Please don't have your child looking like a jackass trying to explain away this law and looking stupid. Please don't let your child be the one on TV knowing that they're going to say, we said back in May 1st that come June 6th, we are going to implement this law that was passed last year for the safety of all drivers and pedestrians, because we have people who cannot get out of Facebook, cannot get out of Instagram. They are driving, looking at their phone, not paying attention. The accidents are crazy. The insurance is at an all-time high. People are sick and tired of you and what you want and what you like and what you feel. Nobody gives a damn anymore about what you feel. We're tired of you. We don't want your excuses anymore. We don't want to live by your excuses. Nobody gives a dog. I know I don't. Every time I hear somebody give me an excuse, inside of myself, I'm saying, can you please hurry up so I can say, and walk away? Oh. It's a beautiful thing to be Rich Blye. See, I set some standards and some goals. I did. I set some dates, some very important dates that I said that were going to be transformative for my life. Yay me. Yay me. Because I don't want to be ruled by these political bums and these political circles. I don't want to get involved with the pettiness of the people versus the elite. I would love to get along, but that's you. I can't stop people. I can't stop you from being you. And if you don't like me and somebody tell you not to like me, hey, I get it. People got told all the time. And listen, they already ran down the list of names. So I know the list of names of people who have been told personally not to deal with that man, Rich Blye, under any circumstances because of what he did in the past to my friend. As I said to people, stop stealing, and I wouldn't have to talk about you. Stop lying, and I wouldn't have to talk about you, public official. Stop stealing and stop lying. Tell the truth. I think people will absolutely understand why you're stealing from them if you explain it to them. They'll go, oh, that makes sense. It doesn't, but at least they know you're not lying to them. So I guess they can, they can deal with the stealing a little bit. Because that's what it seems like. Like I said, in my humble opinion. Because, again, I'm not speaking for everybody. I don't have any letters in front of my name. I don't have any letters behind my name. I am not the expert. I'm a careful observer that comes from a place and an environment where I've seen these things naturally occur on its own. And I will not be a fool and say it doesn't exist. Y'all can play that game. But we're going to wait and see how this plays itself out between Miss Zalo and Mr. Noah Fields. And if this does set a certain type of precedent with Facebook and how public officials are treated, this can really, 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 really go to newspapers, TV, radio station. I'm always concerned about the First Amendment right and the responsibility of it. I like to believe that I'm responsible. Yes, I'm very blunt, very hardcore, so to speak, with the type of news that I deliver. I don't cut any shorts. I don't try to soften the blow. It is what it is. You're a big girl. You're a big boy. You're supposed to be able to take it. From what I've seen, you know what I mean? You've taken worse. So mine shouldn't be any different. But we live in a soft generation, in my opinion. We live in a generation that doesn't understand adversity. We live in a generation that doesn't understand that sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never hurt me. We live in a generation that right now you can say something to somebody online and now they're ready to sue your ass. I'm ready to sue. Sue. You can sue. But these very same people that are suing can call me an asshole. Or can call me a coon. Or a nigga. Or a fake pseudo black man. It's funny. I'm black, so how can I be fake? And I'm the only black man that you see in Upper Darby Council meetings. And if you don't believe me, go back and check the records consistently. Even when I didn't go to the meetings, there was no black men that stood up. Even when I stopped during the time that when my brother passed away and I had to bury my mom and my sons, ain't no other black men step up. None of them. And I say zero out of Upper Darby Township. See, Chester has some pride. At least you have men and women that'll step up for you. You got men and women that'll absolutely be held accountable and actionable. You know what I mean? shout out to y'all out here in Chester. Like I said, I'm not trying to beat nobody up for your politics. I absolutely enjoy the fact that there is some type of civil discourse to your politics so that you do have disagreements so that way it does get talked about. Absolutely, that's pretty much is a good thing. It's just that when it gets physical, that bothers me. Because, you know, I'm a nonviolent person. I don't believe that violence solves anything. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in solving things with my hands. I'd rather talk to you. I'd rather have a cup of coffee. But I also want to say that we live in the real world, and sometimes you can't negotiate. Sometimes hostilities had to be met with some hostility. And unfortunately, like I said, some people just can't control themselves emotionally, and they would rather risk it all to have confrontation. I get that too. I get that too. But like I said, in all of my posts, there are praying Christians, there are singing Christians, and there are praising Christians who shout the Beatitudes towards the Lord of the hosts. I am the Christian who carries a sword. I am a Christian who is prepared to fight in defense of the righteous, not against you. See what I'm saying? There's a difference. Please listen to my words, because people like to go back and misconstrue what I mean. I say exactly what I mean. Please don't twist nothing I say. I stand in defense for the righteous. That is what I fight for. That means I'm not violent. That means I'm prepared in the event of violence. And that's where we're supposed to be as Americans, not violent people, not by nature. But we have politicians that are stoking the flames and having some low budget, low value emotional people stir the pot because they want to see a fight, because these public officials are cowards themselves. They ain't going to fight. They're going to send somebody else. They're going to send somebody else to run you off the road. They're going to pay somebody else to get rid of you. They're going to pay somebody else and make it seem like an accident. It's happened. Brake lines cut. People follow you back from Virginia and try to crash you off the road. Or they paint out a black Chrysler 300 that's been known in the community and try to crash you on 76, but they can't drive themselves and wind up crashing that piece of crap car with 2 occupants in it, both of Bangladesh descent. Crash them out too. Gotta learn how to drive these streets, my man. Talked about it openly on council floor. Even gave the license plate number. See, I just want to say this, folks. People play a game that they don't understand what the risks are. And the risks is that if you're going to get into this arena, you have to understand that there are some people that play for keeps. There are some politicians who want to bolster their position and move up in the world, and they don't care how they get it. And all they have to do is just get the right people to come in and hate on their own people. And hate on their own people. I've never seen anything like that, where we are told by politicians to hate each other so that somebody else can get elected. That's not the Chester I know. That's not the Chester I want to see. That's not the Chester I want to come into. I don't want to come into all of that. Both of these candidates are Democrats. Both of these candidates have experience. One is moving forward. One has unfinished business. It's your choice. Do what you want to do. But don't fight each other in the street for the benefit of either one of these candidates. And I'm not saying that either one of these candidates advocated for it. But the undercurrent of me driving around Chester today, like I drove around Chester today, bro. I was in town to get, the feel of what's going on from the people, because it's important not just to hear news clips and little radio bits and little short video snippets. I want to talk to the people that I love in this town, in this city that I love, that have some opinions about what's going on. They like, Rich, when you get on the radio station, mention this. Can you talk about this? And I said, hell yeah, because I love y'all. And I like I said, bro, I hate seeing Chester fight. I hate seeing Chester fight each other.
There's a saying, two fools arguing, you can't tell who's who. Mm-hmm. I don't like to argue with anybody.
Right.
I like to have a conversation so I can have a better understanding. Nah, P, that's soft. No, that's how people move forward. We can't move forward. We can't help anyone else if we're fighting. If I look at you and see you as an enemy, how can I help you?
Right.
Why would I want to help you?
Right.
So if I see you as an enemy, I see anybody standing next to you as an enemy.
Yep.
I see anybody behind you as an enemy. Mm-hmm. I see anybody over top of you as an enemy. Mm-hmm. I don't need enemies. I have enemies already.
Right.
Those are the people that send our kids to school and don't give them a fair shot.
Yep.
Those are the people that send people to jail and don't give them a fair shot when they come home. Those are the people that take advantage of our brothers and sisters that go into the military and come home and they treat them like they're nothing.
Nothing.
So those are my enemies. Mm-hmm. They've been my enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I will not ever see another person who is under that thumb as an enemy. Now, if you're not under that thumb, then it's up to you to come and help us out.
Right. And that's my point, is that there are people, and we know who they are, that come from us and got to the next level, whether it be, political, whether it be in philanthropy, whether it be civic or whatever. You made it. You moved on up. Great. But you forgot the mission. You forgot the mission.
If they even had a mission. Because their mission
they moved on the mission because somebody helped them.
Their mission might have been to change their life. People, you don't know how people start when they start something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So typically, people get into it for the good.
Right.
And then when they're in it for the good, they realize that the people that are good, this is why they say it's hard to change a system. Because you get in there, you want to change things, and nobody cares about what you care about. Nobody's worried about what you're worried about. Everybody's worried about this. So you get to getting along. Mm-hmm. It's like the get along gang. Mm-hmm. No one's going to come in there and break that until someone really, truly cares about the community. No one's going to come in there and speak for the children of our community if they've never suffered, if they never come and survived that, right? So I wasn't all the way in it, but I went out there to be a part of it at 13 years old, and I realized why my friends were doing and why they felt the way they felt. I was never mad at any of my friends for doing something crazy. You need the money, nigga.
Right.
But let's get it a little bit smarter than that. Mm-hmm. Let's figure that out.
I mean, when you grow, you change. See, this is what I'm saying. When you grow, you change directions, or you have situations and that happen in your life to make you alter a certain course in a direction. Right. Only fools keep the same course after crashing their car, into a brick wall.
Don't you have to be foolish though to believe in something changing? You almost have to be foolish to a point.
Well, it's like this, bro. I would say like this. So I was stabbed and almost lost my life at 27.
Right.
Okay. That was a life-altering moment. Right. Like I literally almost died on somebody's, floor.
Typically, people experience things at age 27 to change. Right? Mm-hmm. That's when your light kicks on upstairs.
Right. But hold on, bro.
Right.
But I know some brothers whose lives, some stuff that happened worse than mine, and they still doing the same thing.
Well, you benefited from your father, your grandfather, having conversations with you. People that didn't have a father or a grandfather to have a conversation with them, it takes a while for their light to be kicked on. right? And I'm gonna just say it, right? I had my dad, I had my uncles, I had different men come into my life and guide me. I also wanted to be in the street because I looked up to my cousin.
Right.
And I looked up to him with baby eyes, like he could do no wrong until I realized how wrong he was. I was 27. I was locked up. I was upstate.
Right.
And I said, I can't do this shit no more. Not out of fear, not being scared. I was upstate. What was going to happen to me? I was either going to die or I was going to go home. So every day it was like, all right, what's going to happen?
Right.
Going home, I realized what I had to do for my children, that I had to change for them.
Right.
After changing for them and realizing that I got to get to the other kids that surround my children. I got to get to the community. That's where the radio station came from. So if a person starts something wholly about other people, they should stay good. You feel me? They shouldn't change no matter how much money is pouring into them or anything. But if a person starts something basically for them, like they go to school, they understand different things, they're not affected by that anymore because they see that they can shift, they can change, they can go somewhere else. So I just tell those people, right? Think about when you were a kid, and the worst thing happened to you. How did you feel? I ask people that. How did you feel as a child? I'm talking about a baby. I don't care. It could have been 10. I was 12 when my father died.
Right.
I was 12 when my lights were cut off in the house, and I was walking through the house with stubbing my toe on everything that was on the ground.
Right.
I went through that for another 15 years. Painful, mad, upset, until I was at a place where I had to find myself. And now, whenever I go through something, my mom passed away 2024.
Right.
I took all of 2025 off, bro. I wasn't out there in the community.
I know.
I was with my daughter.
Right.
Right, in the radio station, like just trying to find myself again without trying to be overly outside.
Right.
Because I didn't want to spaz on anybody. I didn't want to take anything out on anybody. Me understanding what I had to give up, what I had to let go of, you feel me, to save myself. So that's why I'm not beefing with anybody. I have no reason.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you said that because, again, you and I were on the same wavelength for 2025, bro. I didn't even know if I was coming back to the station. I didn't. Like, guys, I blinked out.
You did.
I did.
And I called you.
Yeah, and Pete,
we talked.
And we talked.
What's up?
What's up? What's up? You know what I mean?
You got to talk about what you're going through.
Yeah, my brother came and got me. He really came and got me because I'm gonna tell you, at that point, I was really like,
fuck it,
checking it. Like I wasn't going to check, but I was checking it.
Yeah,
I was checking it.
I don't have time for it.
Yeah, I was checking it, and I was like, you know what? And
why should I have to continue to feel the pain of everyone?
Right.
Why should I have to continue to understand what we should do and nobody listens?
Yep.
Why should I? But if you read the Bible, if you read the fables, if you read the books, that's how it works.
Yep.
When Noah was building his ark, he built that joint by himself. Did it help many? Yes. But when God comes to you, bro, when your creator speaks to you, bro, he speaks to you. He ain't speaking to nobody else.
And that's what I know.
And so when you have something on your heart, when you have a caring heart, when you have a loving heart, when you know what people deserve, you're going to speak about it. And people aren't going to support it right away because they're trying to figure out, why do you care so much? Well, why does this make you so different? You were with today on the highway. My car conked out on me. 2 seconds later, you called me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you good? I was going to say, yeah, bro, I'm good. I start crying. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not good. My car is conked out. You know, where you at? I'm on my way.
Yeah.
You showed up.
Yeah.
With support.
Yeah.
Waited there with me.
Yeah.
Till they came and towed the car.
And?
Took me to go get the battery.
And? Bro, I'm gonna say this. It's a small thing, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. It may have been to everybody else. It's a small thing, right? For me, it's you trying to go see your daughter and having a daughter in a messed up situation where machinery has failed you, not you failed. Okay? And the fact that your drive was to take your daughter to go visit your other daughter who wanted to have that support of family, and it didn't happen today, the way you've been dealing with it ever since this tragedy has happened, the way that you've been supportive, the way that you've been running the station and still being there for your family. It comes a point of frustration in a man that a lot of people don't get or understand. And sometimes it takes another dude that's been through that type of thing to say, you know what? I got you. For no other reason but I got you.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you what it was, bro. Like, I follow you. When I tell people I follow them, I mean that. You know what I mean? Your life is important to me. What you're doing is important to me. I share the content. Say, I'm not one of these, and no offense to nobody else. I don't come to this radio station to pump fake nobody. Okay, I'm not here for none of that. I'm not even here for the likes. I'm here because my brother saw me one day on the side of the road where I got kicked out of a car and told I couldn't speak by my local government, and nobody want nothing to do with me, and nobody want me to say nothing, and nobody wanted to bring me out of the rain, and nobody wanted to give me a bed, and nobody wanted to see me fed, and everybody wanted to see me dead. And my brother said, you know what? F that. Come here. Come here. Come here. I got a spot for you. This man has sacrificed certain friendships and commitments for me right now. And y'all don't even understand that, on the basis that he saw a brother being abused. So let me tell you, brother, how I just explained all of that. That's why you have my unwavering loyalty until you decide that you don't want it no more.
I'll never decide.
That's the way it works, bro.
That's the way it works.
I'm trying to tell you, that's the way it works for me.
I've given that loyalty to people that don't even know how to spell it.
Nope.
That don't even know what it really feels like.
Nope.
Right. To people that really thought I was scared of them. Mm-hmm. Why would I be scared of you?
Of what?
Why? And the question is to anyone that hears this. Why would I be scared of you when the only person I fear is Allah? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only person I fear is my creator.
Yeah.
I don't fear no man.
I don't fear any man either.
I've never feared the man. You put your pants on like me. You get dressed like me. Out of respect.
Yeah.
If I've ever shaken your father or your mother's hand, bro, if I've ever hugged your mother, if I ever called your mother, you have my respect. Yeah. And I'll never do anything to you because I couldn't dare to put a tear down your mother's eye.
Nah.
I'll be damned if I do some shit like that. But on the other side, you have a lot of people that just take that respect as fear. But it's definitely not fear. I'm not scared of you. I just don't choose to want to do anything to you because you're a black man. You're struggling like me. And if we're both struggling, we're both under the same oppression. We both went to the same high school. We both suffer from the same types of ills and wills and things that go on our way. Why would I want to hurt you? Why would I want to put you down? Why? What is the purpose of that? Who am I impressing by putting you down? Oh, I get it. Mm-hmm. I'm impressing the people with the money.
With the money.
I have 33,000 followers on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I got those followers.
Right.
I didn't pay for those followers.
Right.
I don't care. Not to say I don't care about people, but I'm not really worried about.
You're not doing this to gather the likes.
No.
Everything's organic.
Bro.
It happens naturally.
Bro.
Okay. It happens naturally. And that's what people need to understand about this station is that, yes, we're cultivating that maturity positivity. Yes, we're out there doing nonprofit ventures. Yes, we are assisting with the news, and and CMPradio.net is the first local news periodical anywhere that has been bringing you the political spotlight since people started asking the question of who's in charge.
2017, when we started, that was the first thing we was worried about because I wanted to get the news out.
Yep.
I'm not big on reporting news because I don't have a team to help me report news.
Right.
I can't run. I got too much things to run on the radio station. I got to watch my daughter during the day. So I really don't have the time to report the news. And I let those that have the time to report the news. I don't want to step on Jameer's, you feel me, in Jameer's way. So go ahead, do your thing, bro.
Right.
Enjoy it. If you ever feel as though you need a place to come that has a microphone,
right,
if you wanted to look a certain type of way, I can do it for you. I tell him that. But everything comes with a cost.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing. I'm not giving anyone anything else for free.
No.
Ever again.
No.
I don't care if you're my brother, my cousin. This is a business.
Yep.
So if you want a podcast, you got to pay for it.
Yep.
If you want to come through here and talk,
yep,
you got to pay for it.
Yep.
If you want promotion, you
yep,
got to pay for it.
Yep.
If you want anything to pop up on cmpradio.net, you got to pay for it. But understand it's a community radio station, so once you pay for it, you become family. Mm-hmm. So whatever you want to talk about, you can come and do that.
Exactly, and I've said this to folks who said, "Oh, Rich, I want to get up there," and then I said, "Come on," I said we don't have to do it Mondays at 7. We can do it pretty much anytime. Let me know your schedule. We can tape it. We can air it on a certain day. You want to do something for a certain day or whatever. Let's go. Here's the thing about payment. If you need us to come out remotely, we have some promotional plans that are affordable. We can do events. We can come and do interviews for you so that way it does go all across Delco. How do you want to utilize your radio station locally? We want to hear your suggestions. This is my thing. And I'm going to say this very gently. Ever since I started Juneteenth for Delco, because Chester has already did a great job. Chester sits by itself with Juneteenth, and I tell people that all the time. When I talk about Juneteenth, I'm not excluding Chester, but Chester has the Juneteenth thing going on with Miss Sylvia Myers before I even thought about doing anything, and all hail to that queen. Straight up. I don't want nobody to get it twisted and say, "Oh, Rich, you got out there and you put her down." No, I didn't. I learned from her first and told her what I was going to do. I told her what I was going to do. I said, "Respectfully, ma'am, I see how they treated you. And I hear what they did and everything like that." I said, "But on behalf of you, I'm going to go this venture and I'm going to make this happen because they should have treated you better." And I meant that too. Hearing her story and hearing how she was treated, like how I'm being treated now, and how people didn't believe in her vision, and how people didn't want to help her. And now she's getting all the help in the world now, right? Great. Hold on. Great. But it took somebody like myself to make these people hate me enough to show her some love. And that's the true story of it. They had to hate me for it to go find other people to say, "Hey, we're going to give it to you because we can deal with you." And guess what she did? She took it. Right, and guess what? I'm glad she did.
Why wouldn't she?
So she better have. Yeah. They want to give you some money. They want to put your name up. They want to put a plaque up for you, darling. I mean, excuse me, Miss Right. They want to put a plaque up for you. Go right ahead, because you're an icon. Right. Because you're a legend. Right. And I was inspired by you. This black man was inspired by this black woman. Okay, so when they try to do that hate and stuff, "Oh, you don't like black women. You don't know the real Rich Blye. I don't hate women. I hate hoes."
You hate who?
Hoes.
Listen.
I don't do. I don't like these hoes. I don't like these ratchets. I don't like these ones who don't cook, who don't clean. I got a mouth. I'm a queen. I don't like none of them. I don't like none of them. Listen, they're not on my intellectual level, bro. They're not. They're not on my intellectual level.
I like them.
I know. I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. That emotional. And I know, listen, I know what they say. "Well, I'm smart and I got this, but it just comes with too much drama.
It does.
It comes with too much drama. And ladies, I understand that some of you are sexy.
In trauma. Well, I'm saying I'm not saying I was born in trauma. I'm not saying I was born in drama either. But I've learned to accept it. You feel me? And
I don't.
That's just the way it goes.
I'm
not trying to change anybody.
No. I'm not trying to change nobody either. Right. But the thing about it is that I've had enough drama. Like for me, today's like the line in the sand.
Right.
Today was the day that if you were on the Lord's side, to step up. I didn't put that time in for it to be cursory. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe in the next month, and people have been tested with their resolve, bro. And some people have already failed.
Wow.
Just saying. There's certain specific dates that was set in advance. Be here. Do this. You have to get this done. You see how they're changing the laws. You see how they introducing new laws, okay? This thing is about to turn. You see down in Upper Darby that they charged a 14-year-old child with third-degree murder and put his picture up, okay? Pennsylvania has on the books that if your child commits a crime and it's felonious murder or anything like that, manslaughter or whatever, they're charging them as an adult because they don't have a juvenile prison and they got to keep their quotas up. So guess what? Your kids out there doing teen takeovers. Your kids out there buying that Swatch watch, that cheap watch, and talking about you ain't got voter ID and talking about the black people are broke. Black people are not broke. Black people have bad spending habits, okay? Because if the Chinese store can still stay in the black neighborhood, we ain't broke. I mean, no, they bro. If the Chinese store,
I know.
Yeah, we ain't broke.
I don't believe that everyone is in a recession.
No, we're not in a recession.
And that could be from the illegal gains. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Most people that feel the recession or are living check to check aren't doing illegal stuff.
No.
So most of the people that were out there buying those Swatch watches at KOP, somebody was doing something. There's a couple of illegals, you know.
Oh yeah. You know, of course. You know what I mean. I those go get it boys and those go get it girls.
And that's cool.
That's cool. Like I said, that's cool.
I'm not knocking anybody.
I'm not knocking that either. But understand this though. Understand this. For when it counts though. For when it counts. When we need you to stand up and stand in line for when it counts.
Don't nobody want to be.
Okay, you can stand in line for a watch.
No, don't.
But you can't come outside for an hour and find out why parents won't put a gun lock or on their gun, or come out here and mentor these boys that's hypersexualized, or teach these girls some basics in how to be a woman.
I think we passed the buck, and the buck has been passed from generation to generation. I think there's a widespread, like a no communication agreement between the older generation and the younger generation. I'm not talking about 65. I'm talking about 70. Right? That's the people that are 70 right now. Right? Were the people that were 30 when I was born.
Right.
Right? They were going through something. They were trying to find themselves. Now, these people, they were fighting against heroin. They was fighting against the Vietnam War. You understand what I'm saying? They were fighting against something. And then in the 80s, everything shifted. Right. Right? And it got younger. And it got catered, and things got catered towards the younger audience.
Right.
And the old heads had to either be winos on the corner, or they had to either start smoking crack and getting high. You feel me? So their voices became lowered. Because you're not doing anything if you're buying drugs off me. I'm not going to listen to you. If you sit on the corner drinking, I'm not going to listen to you, right?
Right.
So the people that didn't get high or use drugs, they went on to college. They did different things. They had jobs. They were doing different things. They were living different lives, but they stopped communicating.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. The violence drove people indoors. The violence separated households from talking. And you're right about that era, because I'm from that era. Okay, I'm from the late 60s, early 70s. So those people who are 10 years older than I am, they did stop communicating because they had to live in fear during the time of the 90s, when the 90s came through. See, during the 70s, I'm going to tell you, bro, during the 70s, we didn't lock our doors.
I don't lock my doors.
Listen, ain't nobody walking in here. Listen, you can.
I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to carve you up, put you in a chair, and leave you here for the police to come get you.
Listen, but when I'm saying that you could literally leave your front and or back door open and did not have to worry about it. You knew your neighbor. My block that I go to, when I go home to Germantown, now I know everybody's moved out, but there's still people there that I grew up with. My block still looks the same. It's not bombed out. It ain't depleted. Ain't no drug dealing on the corner. Ain't none of that. And it's in the heart of a black neighborhood. But that community is so together from top to bottom that it didn't change. And you got pockets of oases like that, not only in Philly, but Chester and all around. Because why? Because the people communicate with each other. They don't have any fear in their neighborhood. But you got blocks where you might have one house being the rowdiest. And we've seen that. One house can bring down a whole community.
Absolutely.
Okay? One house. And if people have a fear of that one house, then this person stopped talking, next person, this person's moving. Miss Johnson, who lived next door, she feel held hostage because she see everything going on, and they quietly threaten her. You say something, Miss Johnson, buzz a cat, you know what I mean, blah, blah. So she ain't talking to nobody. So now you've let it disintegrate. Because why? Because in our communities, men who don't stand up allow that to happen. This is what happens, bro. Strong men
get attacked.
Create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. It's a never-ending cycle.
But we can end the cycle, right? We got to understand if we never see things as a good time, if we never see things as a great time, then we're raising our children to understand that there is someone attacking us.
Right. And also, I'm gonna tell you, P, I don't want to have a party to celebrate the success of every event. I feel like every time we have something successful, then next thing you know, somebody want to party about it. Like, let's say we have a successful event, we reach the kids, have a kid moment, blah, 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 and the next thing you know, we gonna celebrate that success. No, we should be taking that energy of celebratory and setting up for the next successful thing that we're gonna have. The next successful thing in a row. And then, guess what?
I don't deem anything happening in my community as being successful until everyone feels as though
that's what I'm talking about.
So I don't celebrate too much of anything. I know when I did the gala for the radio station, it was to, give people in my community.
Yeah, right. But that was community-based awards, bro. That's not you saying, "Hey, we having a party and we celebrating this, that, and that." You quietly celebrated it when you brought us all together to talk about.
I'm talking about I did it bigger than that. We did a 6-year drink.
Yeah, right. I mean,
we're gonna do it again. 10 years, 6 years, 10 years. You feel me? We're gonna do it again.
Everybody just needs to really come through and see what we're really about.
Right.
You know what I mean? People need to engage us and say, because the people are interested in it, but they're so afraid of this. They're afraid of this.
They're afraid of that.
What? How they gonna appear on the screen?
They're afraid of the camera.
Oh, you might appear fat. You might appear small. You might appear bug-eyed. Your eyes might be red because you're tired. Your voice going to waver a little bit. Your feet going to pitter-pat, and you might hit the table a little bit. But after that's all done, like how the Delva sisters were when they first got started, you could tell how nervous they were.
Oh yeah, and we pre-recorded, we did shows outside of the station.
Right.
It was just like, yo, let's do it at the station, because I was carrying a lot of equipment back and forth, and they was like, yo.
And they just and the way I give shout outs to them because it's so fresh, it's so raw, and it's so real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it makes me want to watch it.
Conversation pieces.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch it because I get so much of a perspective from what they talk about history, what they talk about with their lives and their relationships and some of the things that they've encountered and gone through, the fun that you see them have with one another. You know what I mean? It's very refreshing where you don't have a bunch of women beating down men or beating down situations or whatever. They're keeping it real funky fresh live and talking about it from a perspective where, as a man, I can say, okay, I'm getting my perspective from a woman. I can take some of that perspective and go and have a conversation with my woman and talk about some things.
When a person can have a disagreement with someone and still have a conversation,
right?
They're forward thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I can disagree with everybody and still have a conversation and still love you.
Right.
I can agree to disagree.
Right.
We don't see the world the same.
Mm-mm.
But one thing I will never do is tell you can't say that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you feel that strongly about it, you can say it. You say it to the children, to the young men, because you want to keep it real with them.
Right.
I need y'all youngins to understand. If it's 5 of y'all, 2 of y'all ain't gonna be here.
Nope.
Now whether that's in jail or that's death.
That's what's going to happen.
10 years from now, 2 of y'all ain't going to be here. If y'all don't work together, if it's 5 of y'all and y'all hanging together, y'all should be thinking about creating a business structure around y'all 5.
And that's what I was telling those young men that was at Delco Gives.
Right.
I told them that. I said, the 4 of y'all, I said, y'all friends? Yeah. I said, you've been lifelong friends? Like, yeah, we grew up together. Right. I said, all right, listen, let me tell y'all something as men. I said, this bond that y'all got right now, don't let nobody come in and break that. That's number one. If that's your homie, that's your homie. I said, don't trade off for no girl. Don't trade off for no money. And don't trade off from somebody outside of your circle that's trying to offer you bigger, better because they think that you're the talent of the group. I said, don't be the Michael Jackson and leave Tito behind. And they started laughing. I said, because right now that's what they want to do. They want to take the biggest, brightest, bestest from you, and you might be the one that's helping your team manage to get up. You might be the one that the rest of those 3 are looking to say, man, he got that strength that if I hang around with him long enough, that's my man. He can show me some things, and you're showing them something like that. Everybody's got that one person on the team. He ain't the boss, but he has the leadership that it's gravitated to. There's always the athlete, the jester, the con, and the intellectual. It is always a combination of those 4. Sometimes, sometimes the con is the muscle. Sometimes the jokester is the muscle because, he throws people off, but he's the one that's going to come and rock you and laugh at the same time. Right. You know what I mean? And I've been in those situations where, I had a couple people on my team that was, the muscle, and they thought it was me, and I was like, no, it's this little short running bone right here. That's the one. That's the one you got to look out for. Right. And like most of the people, like I said, all of my homies growing up were former military. Right. You know what I mean? So they love to get into that type of stuff. They love the brawl. Right. So people would think that I was the one that would, come with the because of my size and everything like that. No, I step out the way and you get this little Prince-looking size dude that just spun a car around in front of the club, parked it into a parking space, pops open the trunk, pulls out the baseball bat, but comes over and suplexes you to the ground and then hits you with the bat and then tells everybody to leave and we meet back up. And it's like he's sitting there with these things. That's a true story. Yeah, I've seen like that's that time that nowadays it's the gun place. You can't do it that way.
That's another reason why I don't have too much to say on the street. I had more to say when I was locked up because there ain't no guns up there.
Yeah,
I remember getting locked up and hey, we're cool now. I don't have any, but he was talking cash shit. I was like, you remember me when we was on the street? See, in this joint, I'm a lot different. We use hands in here. You ain't gonna go get no gun. You might go get a knife, but you can shoot me from across the street. You can't stab me from across the street. Right. You got to get close to me to stab me. And by the time you get close to me, I'll be done hit you a couple times. See, and here is combat. So I'm gonna go get strapped up, and I'll see you. I'll come out. All right. I'll make sure they bust your door open. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. There's no ill. It's like because you're talking cash shit, like you know me, and you really don't. You remember when we was younger, when I was trying to be everybody's friend, right? Because I was just outside, right? I've grown up a lot since then. I'm 26 years old. It's 14 years. If you know any of the things that I've been through over the last 14 years, bro, you wouldn't be talking.
Been talking to you.
Matter of fact, ask the motherfuckers in the cell with you. You feel me? And they stood up there. It was like, yo, he ain't lying. You feel me? Like, so how you feel about me is completely different.
And I think that's what people need to understand about the journeys that where we're at right now as grown men. We are products from the street. We are a product from the street. We're also a product from our homes. We're also a product from our educational backgrounds and anything that we've done, work-wise. And we are products of these things. Right. Where we are right now is that we are now a culmination and a byproduct of all of these things fused to turn into a key to pass down to the generation. Because we took all of those elements and took those metals and forged them together because they were necessary parts. Now that part of that key of where you went to prison, that key now keeps that kid from going to prison. because now it's part of that experience and it's fused into that key that's going to help them from where I come from, a corporate sense. Right. Now my corporate sense is fused in with that. You're not going to prison. You have some corporate sense. Now you have a grace with the community. You love our women and you respect our children and you stand as a man. These fuses come from the iron that's been melted down from us. The sweat of our iron that now forms a new key for the new generation. So now you don't have to go through that lake of despair. Now you don't have to go through that valley of death. Now you don't have to cross that bridge of destruction. Now you just turn the key to that door. But you know what? Are you ready for it? And that's why I say in this generation right now, where we're at, we have to be sure who we're giving the keys to. We have to be certain, bro, because like I said, we are the new elders. We are. The icons are tired. The icons are, you know what I mean? Shout out to Miss Mayfield doing her thing still. She young. She ain't going nowhere. I ain't worried about that. You know, she got her house rocking. But some of the older ones, they are getting tired. You can see it in their faces when you go to the events. They're smiling, they're happy and everything like that, but they're looking for their replacement. They're looking for somebody that has the same passion. They're looking for somebody that has that commitment. They're looking for it. Amen. And we got to make sure that the ones that are getting it, they don't get swept to the wayside anymore. They don't get overlooked. They don't get picked because of the pick-me's and the favoritism that we see a lot of people doing. Stop playing favorites. You don't know which child you're about to push down to the ground because you don't like their mama or you can't stand their daddy. Like, y'all need to stop that. Y'all don't know what y'all are doing. And these public officials are part of the circle. Because you got the white ones on the inner circle telling the black ones on the inner circle, push this one out, push that one out, push that one out, push this one out. And they sitting back laughing. They having a good time at our expenses, bro. And then these guys go up here and want to sip champagne with them and want to sit up here and have these cocktails with them and then play us in our faces. We're saying we see you. We're saying that's what? The line has changed. When that election line gets over tomorrow, you're going to see on Wednesday which way it's going to go because some people got some things to say to y'all. Oh, it's coming, bro. That's what I want to warn people. Be the people factually. Deal with your elected officials factually. Make sure you hold your elected officials accountable factually. Go to these meetings. Watch these meetings. Email them. Start a paper trail, okay? Whatever you don't like, start a paper trail. Young kids, teach your grandparents how to contact your public official. Take them to the public official's office. Even if they go up there and say, I want to meet him with the mayor, and you can't see him right now, it gets noted that this person came to see you, and guess what? And within 5 days, the mayor's office is going to get back in touch with you because you came and signed up to see him. It happens. Stop complaining. Vote and do something. Hold on. Vote, then act. Not act, vote, and then sit on your ass.
I'm not going to say stop complaining.
When I mean complaining,
stop complaining to yourself, to your friends.
Stop complaining without action, bro.
Bring those words of complaints to a city council meeting.
Yes.
Bring those words of complaints to the offices. Bring those words of complaints to your committee members. We have to learn how things work.
But they also
because
have
we're
to
sitting here trying to screw a carrot into a light
fixture, right?
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Right?
But folks have to you have to understand, if you don't know how the government works, you have to, and this is what I said when I train people. Everything that you've ever learned from anybody, get it out of your head. Because I'm about to train you the way that I want you to do this job, which is going to be the job. So if you're, let's say, the person working the food slicer, I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to show you how to break it down. I'm going to show you what you're responsible for. Here's all your measurements that I want for this, that, and the third. It's going to be on a list. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to check that list and I'm going to make sure that you're certified to work that machine. That's what you should be doing with an elected official. That election official should be certified so that way, if he is the quote unquote person slicing the lunch meat, that he ain't slicing off too much or letting it spoil or not cleaning the machine or cross contaminated with the pork, with the turkey, or it's cutting it with the cheese on the slicer. Okay. Or putting his thumb on the scale. That's how you have to treat a public official, like they working a job. And if you don't treat them that way, then guess what? You are the slave. Anybody, and I'm going to say this, you're the slave. Because here's the thing. If you're not as ferocious as your oppressor, then you're destined to be a slave forever. See you on the flip side.